Oh boy, here we go.
Freaking Vanlife.
Bed here, kitchen here, a dinette here.
That's fancy.
It looks very sketchy.
Obviously, Vanlife gets so glorified.
And then I also have like a pee bottle that I'll just fill up too. This is gonna fill up. Hey, I literally had to like, boop, boop, and you're like, let's go. But it's like, there's no space.
How long do you think it's going to take before somebody breaks into the van? Money, drugs, guns. The dark side of van life, dude.
Dude, it's the dark side.
Trail Tales is back. Welcome to Trail Tales, everybody. My name is Kyle Grady. I am a huge hiking nerd. In every single episode of this podcast, I chat with other hiking nerds about their experiences on the trail and in the outdoors, because I have a feeling not every subject of conversation might be specifically related to trail today. But sitting to my right, we have the one and only, the most frequent guest on the show, the most beloved and loathed guest on the show. Loathed. Is that a word? I think that's a word.
Yeah, that's a word. I didn't realize there was loathing towards me.
It's a bad thing, right?
It is.
I'm really kind of an idiot. Most people know this.
Who are the loathers?
I don't know. Leave your comments, guys. If you just hate Baker's guts.
I wanna interact with these loathers. You know? Yeah.
I do too.
We need to confront them.
Yeah, that's true. Elephant in the room. We're outside right now. And we have microphones clipped onto our trowels. Yep.
Yeah.
My trowel. He also uses his spork as a trowel.
I mean, this is my trowel and spork. Yeah, but this is trowel. So Kyle said, we're gonna mic up. We're gonna use our trowels, and so I grabbed my trowel. Obviously, the device I use to shovel the poop into the hole. So.
And to be fair, I do use my trowel as a spork quite often as well, and so it could go either way. Depending on how you look at it, we're using our trowels or our sporks. But
this is the larger one. So, kind of when you're at like a dinner party and you have like a big, a big salad or something, you need to, it's like your serving spoon. It's too big to eat like individually, but whenever you're like a hiker feast and you need to like shovel a bunch onto your plate, this is kind of like the serving spoon of trowels right here.
That's right. Also, full disclosure, I did rip this idea off of putting the microphone on the trowel from My Life Outdoors. When I was at Trail Days back in the spring, he was doing a video and he was interviewing through hikers like this. And I was like, that is genius. I'm going to steal that as well as many of his thumbnail ideas. And so, and designs. But anyways, so yeah, we're camping right now. We're in the great state of Utah. The Beehive State, I believe, is what they call it.
Really?
Yeah, it's true. Jessica just made a face in the background.
Jessica did not like that. True. We're going to be leaving the Beehive State really soon, I think. We weren't sure what we were going to do after you all leave today, but I'm pretty sure I know what we're going to be doing.
You will not be in the Beehive State.
We will be leaving the Beehive State now that we know it is named as such.
That's the name, dude. I don't make the rules. I just
haven't seen any bees yet, to be honest. Jessica seen any bees? Okay, well, she's seen them. I didn't notice.
I thought at that water source we passed yesterday, I would have seen some.
Oh.
Because on the PCT, which
bees?
is the biggest frame of reference I have for Western United States hiking, obviously.
Yeah.
On the PCT, there was always like
in the Utah section of the PCT, you'd always find bees near the water sources. Yeah, that's a useful data.
Yeah,
point.
On that day, I got really lost.
Oh yeah,
I was really lost.
Wow, you were exceptionally lost. Yes,
and I was in Utah, and there was bees on the PCT in Utah.
Okay.
Oh, we got a car. But anyways, so we're camping right now. We're in
the great outdoors.
Yeah, we're in national forest, just boondocking,
dispersed camping.
Yep,
just
dispersed,
just hanging in the woods,
and that's what we're doing. And so we're like, all right, we'll do a podcast. And so janky setup. We don't have the usual podcast mics, and in fact, these are brand new. I've never used them before, so I'll probably mess it up. So if you're listening, that's why it sounds weird.
The entire episode could be silent for all we know. We might get through an hour of this and then find out that there's just nothing left. That's only a good joke for people who can.
I know.
Who are watching. If you're not watching, we just went silent, and that was intentional. So
we're on we're at a beautiful site, but it's right on a dirt road, and there are a lot of people going by.
A lot of motorized traffic.
Motorcycles. There's number 2 in side by sides, ATVs, dirt bikes,
big old trucks with fifth wheels,
and that's kind of interesting. Like, I've only been in Utah for about a month now, but me and Leela have been getting out and camping pretty much every weekend. And my understanding of like the whole like dispersed camping, going into like BLM land or national forest land my understanding was that it was going to be a lot of like, van lifey people, like crunchy, outdoorsy kind of people.
Yeah, mountain biking around, rock climbing, hiking,
and stuff like that. But from what it's been like, and I'm not saying this is good or bad, but just something I didn't expect is that pretty much every place we've gone so far, the overwhelming like vibe from the other people around has been like, I hate to stereotype, but kind of like rednecky vibes. Like,
oh boy, here we go.
Hunting and side by sides and off-roading. And not so much like, oh my God, dispersed in nature. I love like van life and that kind of vibe,
Yeah.
Which was kind of interesting because I didn't expect that, to be honest.
I think it depends on the area. The area we're in, I mean, we went hiking yesterday, and the trails were there. I mean, it's a trail, but they were not like well established, not well marked, even on maps. We used no less than 4 different mapping applications to figure out where we were going.
That was confusing as hell. Like, Gaia didn't even have the trail.
Yeah, some of them didn't have them, some had them in the wrong place. And so, I mean, this is not like a popular hiking area, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so, but there are a bunch of bunch of off-road trails around here. So I think maybe part of the reason you're seeing that mixture is like, we're in an area this is kind of like, we're kind of in the wrong place. So I feel like we're one of the few like people who didn't roll up in a pickup truck with a side-by-side, being pulled from behind. Like, there goes another one. Yep. So but I mean, everyone's been super nice.
Oh,
We've
no,
been,
I don't
waving
care.
at everyone. When we came here, Jessica and I got here like about, a few hours earlier than you all, looking for a campsite. And we were driving down a kind of a side road, forest road, and it was getting rougher. And we're like, you just never know how far you need to go down the road to like try to find a site.
Mm-hmm.
And you do find a site, you're like, well, it's okay, but like, what if it's a better one?
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out, and this lady on ATV saw that we were clearly struggling in the woods trying to like find a spot. And she was like, no, just go back to we told her we had another car coming, described what we were looking for. She said, go back to the main road, keep going south. Tons of sites exactly what you're looking for. So again, she was super nice. She wasn't like, judging us for not, having an ATV or something like that. Like, everyone's been super nice out here, which is cool. And I think and we've seen a bunch of hunters too. We
saw a bunch of
probably
hunters.
saw like 5 to 10.
Like a concerning amount in that we were not wearing any blaze orange.
We had
did not take
orange.
any precautions, which you should do during hunting season. I think I know that, but I just didn't. That was stupid. I didn't think about it.
Well,
honestly,
this is mid-September, so it's kind of like early hunting season. It's bow
season here.
But it is still like, I mean, it's it's still hunting season. They're still firing dangerous projectiles, and we don't want to be in the crossfire. So it would have been wise. Some parts we hiked in were like wide open and kind of just like sagebrushy. Those areas we weren't concerned in, but there's some other areas where we're like pretty dense, and so those were the ones that we were kind of like,
it was pretty though.
Yeah.
We're in like central Utah, basically, almost like right smack in the center of the state.
Yeah.
And it was weird. Like the trail system we were on, like Baker alluded to a second ago, it was like there was a trailhead there, and there were trails there, but like it was very different between the different like GPS apps.
Yeah.
And like even the map they had up on the trailhead. There's a big old trailer. Look at that thing. The Sandpiper. Anyways, we should have had another camera pointing. Yeah, I'm sure people would love to see people just driving
here's
by.
the road traffic.
Never mind. That's the stupidest idea I've ever had, actually. But anyways, I almost felt like, this is totally just a hunch, I don't know this, but I almost felt like the trail system we were on yesterday like used to be a lot more like established and maintained, and maybe after that fire in 2012, or maybe just before that even, somebody just started to forget about it and not care about it as much. Because like we found there was a few intersections that were marked with signs, and then a lot of them that weren't, and then a lot of the trails weren't even marked at all, or even official trails. Part of it was on private property. It was very it felt like, I don't know, they used to maintain that and take care of it more properly, and then over time they eventually just kind of said screw it, and they're just letting it be reclaimed slowly, but it's still there enough that you can go, but I don't know.
But then there were some nice bridges too. Like
there was some
a
nice
couple
bridges.
really nice, like well-maintained bridges. So I don't know. And we also, one of the trails I think was mostly just a game trail.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in terms of like the footprints that were on it, it was pretty much all elk and deer. Like I didn't see any human footprints on those, like no boot prints or anything.
Yeah.
And then we did run across like an old spring, which was like,
that was nice,
had like
actually.
clearly they were trying to, we got like a whole squad of, this doggo. The dog was loving life. Anyway, this is the least interesting content no one can see. About 5 cars just like drove by a big old squadron of them. But yeah, I mean, we found like an old spring that was like I don't know, it was kind of just like, you could tell it used to be a trough. Well, it was a trough, but it was like flipped on its side. So it wasn't collecting any water.
There.
And then a few pipes like jammed into the ground. But we actually did collect water from that one.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
It was like barely flowing.
Yeah.
It was probably like a liter.
Oh, let's measure it. Yeah. What was the flow rate? Yeah.
Yeah. I love those comments on Far Out where it's like, you know, and sometimes there's very useful comments about like the speed of a water source, like on the PCT and stuff when, you know, the water is like not flowing very well. But then sometimes you'll get to like a huge river that obviously has like plenty of water, and someone's like, yeah, it's flowing like 300 gallons per minute or something like that. And you're like, well, that's good to know.
Yeah. What's the cubic inches per foot per second or whatever? Yeah. Did you bring your river gauge out there to like just get the whole flow? Yeah. It is weird though. I agree. There's something about a sense of disrepair around here. Like these trails are not commonly used for hiking, or I don't know. And some of them, like, I mean, I guess they were on the map, but they really seem like they're being maintained by the animals more than people.
Yeah. But then again, you'd still see like some blowdowns that have been cleared, you know, maybe years ago, but
someone did see some trees cut down.
Brought like a saw or an axe up there or something.
Yeah.
And in a way, and I don't have much experience with this. I'm used to like very established trails and stuff.
Yeah.
In a way, it almost like was it almost had some charm. Almost like
I like that kind of stuff.
A very seldom traveled area.
Yeah.
And like clearly it's still used, but I don't know. I kind of liked it too.
Oh, I
assuming
like it too.
You don't get fucking lost, which we didn't. But
yeah,
you know,
well, we didn't get lost, but we
got
kind
off trail
of
a couple
misplaced
times.
ourselves a
but
bit.
we also didn't have like a clear objective. Like we have to reach this peak. We were kind of just like, yeah, we'll go up to the ridge and kind of see what happens. And and it was beautiful too. It's so beautiful here. I absolutely love this part of Utah.
Yeah, the like aspens are starting to change color a little bit too. I think we're probably like a week or two early for like peak aspens, but some of the smaller stands are starting to turn, and yeah, it's looking really nice.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying fall, like the beginning of fall. It's like been cold at night. It's been like kind of down in the 40s, and like it's been nice. Like this whole summer I've mostly been in Denver, just like sweating it out in 90-degree weather, and so it's been really nice to like get up in the mountains and feel chilly again. And stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we'll get to more of y'all's plans in a second here, but
or lack of plans.
Your new lifestyle, dude.
Yeah,
freaking van life. But anyways, let's tell the arrow story real quick.
Yeah, when we were like going through those like more of the dense part I actually didn't really see it. You should probably tell it.
Yeah,
I was obliviously didn't even notice.
So like I said, when we went hiking yesterday, there's a lot of hunters. Like on the way in, we probably passed like. Most of them were coming out, it seems like.
Yeah.
But we probably passed at least like 4 or 5 people that were bow hunting. That's the I guess for elk and deer.
For elk. I don't know. I'm not sure. We're not hunters, but it's basically that's bow.
It's bow season right now.
Bow season of something.
Yeah. And
it could be squirrels. Is it bow squirrel season?
I don't know. I'm sure I know people hunt squirrels with
a bow.
I don't know with a bow, but
could be
22.
Could be beaver season too.
I think they were in the wrong spot for that.
We did find a wildebeest skull at campsite too.
It's like right back there somewhere.
Yeah, we should grab it.
I pissed on it like 3 times last night.
Did you?
Yeah, I see it right there. Yeah.
Well,
I don't want to touch it.
I'll let you grab it. I don't want to touch it.
Anyway, so it was hunting season, and like I said, we probably should have taken some precautions for that, worn some blaze orange, or something. But we're going along. We did an out and back basically, and so we climbed up to this ridge, and on the way back down on the same trail that we had gone up, I found a arrow just stuck in the ground on the side of the trail, and it was a little sketchy because nobody noticed it on the way up, which either leads me to conclude that, I guess what I just said there, nobody noticed it on the way up, like it was there and we just missed it, or that somebody was out hunting, and between the time that we came up and when we went back down, somebody fired that arrow.
Which hadn't been that long, maybe like an hour?
Probably like 2 hours if I had to guess.
Maybe two, but like it was like a shortish period of time.
A little bit sketchy.
Yeah, and it was in like a dense, like really overgrown, like young aspens, so like the kind that are growing at like head to hip height, and like you couldn't see more than like 10 feet really through that area. And so that was the kind of thing where like someone could totally miss. I mean, I don't think anyone would. It would be probably difficult to like intentionally aim at you, but they wouldn't necessarily see you.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt anyone was like shooting at us, but it just means somebody might have been hunting in that area around the time we went through, and they shot at something and missed clearly. But
Or they hit it so well it just went clean straight through.
Yeah, no blood or anything.
Unclear.
And I don't know. And again, it was probably just there. We probably just missed it on the way up.
Could have been. How new did it seem?
It seemed pretty fresh.
Okay, so
again, I don't know if that means like
it was a fresh arrow.
Fresh arrow, dude.
Really fresh arrow.
Yeah, that was actually my nickname in college. No.
How'd you get that one?
That's you don't want to know.
That's probably inappropriate. To
yeah,
tell.
definitely.
Yeah,
different times, folks. Different times.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I don't know. It definitely hadn't been there like from last season. You know.
Do you think it was from like is this like a prehistoric era? Like what era are we thinking?
I don't
like,
know. Did Easton make arrows back in prehistoric times?
Yeah, when did was Easton in the BC? Is that when they? I can't remember what year BC they started fletching.
I don't know.
Yeah, what did you carbon date it? Did you bring your carbon dater out there?
I carbon dated it to the past this hunting season.
Okay. Okay. Well,
it looked, you know, it hadn't been out over the winter. That's for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Whether it was shot there today or yesterday or last week, I don't even know when hunting season started. I'm guessing it was
a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Like pretty recent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit sketchy. But
yeah,
we made it.
Well, and then as we were going down, Kyle started yelling out like, "Hikers coming through!"
I don't know.
Coming through. I was like, "That's not a bad idea."
The thing that made me do that is I heard a story from years ago. I think someone was on the Long Trail and like somewhere near Killington, like Southern Long Trail, and they heard gunshots like in the fall, and they heard gunshots like really close.
Okay.
And so somebody was hunting, but it was like really close in a sketch. I don't even remember where I saw this, to be honest. Somebody's like trail journal, trailjournals.com.
Oh yeah. No,
I feel like
not. Yeah.
The kids might not know that one. That's a throwback.
I would say, is this some sort of like murder mystery YouTube channel?
No.
Did you know anything about that? I don't know. It's one of
no,
those kind of things.
trailjournals.com, dude.
I know that. Yeah.
Do you guys know trail journals? No.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I must have read it on there or somebody back when I used to read trail journals. But
yeah.
Yeah, and anyways, they heard these gunshots really close, and so they started yelling out. He was like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You just let them know, like, hey, maybe don't shoot right now.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Because I'm here and you're right next to a public hiking trail.
Uh-huh.
Which I guess then again, I don't really know the rules. I'm assuming you're allowed to shoot relatively close to trails.
I don't actually know the rules about
that. I'm sure it probably varies and everything. Somebody in the comments knows, but I'm sure you have to be X amount of feet or yards off the trail and probably not pointing towards the trail either, I would hope.
It's
probably close enough that you'd hear the gunshots pretty clearly from the trail still.
Yeah, definitely.
And here, clearly people are using the hiking trails to go out and hunt and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I doubt they're hunting right from the trail, but you have to access these areas.
Yeah.
And it's somehow. So
yeah, no, it's a good way to get in there. But yeah, that is interesting.
Oh, there's another big one.
Oh, that's a really big one. That's a 4-seater.
Look at the Talon side by side.
Man, if anyone's a side by side enthusiast, this is just eye candy
everywhere
out here.
Dude, yeah. Everywhere we've been since we got here, everywhere we've camped, I should say.
Yeah.
People love the side by sides. It's a vibe out here.
Yeah, they look pretty fun.
I've never been in one, but yeah, they do look kind of fun.
I mean, it's kind of like it's sort of like definitely an adult just toy of blasting around of just blasting through the woods trails and rough stuff. Looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
I would definitely be afraid of I wouldn't know how to drive one, so I definitely flip it or crash it or kill myself.
100%. You don't. I can't believe you can even drive that thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of that thing,
barely got here.
So Baker and his wife Jessica are fresh into van life, dude.
Fresh, 2 weeks.
2 weeks into van life, so they're basically experts.
Yeah, we're experts. I can tell you anything you need to know.
Yeah. Okay. What inspired living in a van?
Jessica
inspired it.
Well, she was the one who really wanted to. I think pushed for it. I think the thing that she really put we were both, I think, down for living in a van full time, but I think she pushed for building our own van, which that's very different
versus buying one that was already built out.
Buying one that's mostly done or completely done or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure when we got that idea, but I mean, it's become very popular and it's in recent years, and so I mean, Jessica's saying she wanted to do it in 2017, so that's a little older, but it's certainly pretty popular now. And obviously, we spend a lot of time. We love spending time outdoors. Being up in the woods, camping in places. Going to trailheads and stuff. And so it's kind of the sort of stuff you do on the weekends, weekend warring of packing all your stuff up, going up in the mountains, camping, hiking, biking, whatever, but just doing it all the time. And then there's also just the more we've traveled, the more just places that get add to our list of we want to go there. And so that's been a big part of how do you see all these places efficiently, cost efficiently, time efficiently, etc. So that's like definitely amazing for just traveling to so many places. Another thing is that all of our family lives in the eastern United States, and we generally like to recreate more in the western United States.
Yeah.
But we do like to spend a lot of time with our family. And so we were like, kind of getting to that point where we're like, well, if we're going to settle down somewhere or like buy a house, we've been renting for our entire adult life. And so like, do we want to like buy a house somewhere and kind of, establish more permanent home base? And we were like, but where would we do it? Because we just can't decide. Again, we have this like total, we're just very torn between like these places we love spending a lot of our time. I mean, not that we dislike the East Coast, but we've spent a lot of time there. We grew up there. We hiked the entire Appalachian Trail. We spent like literally months living in those mountains, and we do love them.
Well, technically, you didn't hike the entire. No, just kidding.
Okay, well,
Jessica did.
Jessica. Somehow that comes up every single episode.
I'm never gonna let you live that one down.
Live it down. But yeah, we spend a lot of time out there, and we do really love a lot of the just types of recreation stuff you can do out here.
Yeah.
And so basically, it's like, if you can't decide, then you just don't decide. And so how do you not decide? Well, you choose a house essentially that you can move anywhere. Like that's kind of, I think that actually was a pretty big part of how we got to that part, because the idea of like living in it was definitely, or doing that before we like, before we lived out here in Colorado, we definitely thought it would be cool living in a van. But then when it came down to like, okay, actually we really just can't figure out where we want to live, and now like we don't have to decide. Yeah. So it kind of just all played into that. And so yeah, that's been definitely, I mean, so probably, we're gonna be doing that kind of seasonal migration pattern. We're not like snow chaser kind of people, so we're cool. Like we don't like ski or snowboard really, so we're cool with just avoiding basically leaving when the snow, like kind of snowbird-esque sort of thing. But we definitely we like colder weather. We were just talking about today what the ideal is, like cold weather until it starts to snow and ice, and then we don't want to deal with the snow and ice. So yeah, probably it'll be like winter in the East Coast, and then just maybe in kind of the Southeast too, because obviously it gets very cold in the Eastern United States up north. But then maybe like probably in the desert, Arizona, southern Utah, New Mexico. Yeah, and then once the heat comes back and it gets hot in the summer, head back up into the mountains and get up at higher elevation and all that. So I'm sure we'll be doing that, but really we don't even know what we're gonna do tonight, like where we're gonna stay. We might camp here, or we might like head somewhere else. So we're just really like kind of flying by the seat of our pants here.
This was a long time coming for you guys, because I mean, you said the idea started a while ago, but when I visited you guys last December, so December of 2023.
Yep.
When we did that in-person episode back then.
Yeah.
You guys had the van at that point, but there was basically nothing in it except for a bunch of wires.
You got to see it. It was
I thought I was gonna get shocked just like touching it.
Yeah,
it was just wires.
It looked very sketchy. Yes.
And here we are, less than a year later, and I know you guys always say like, oh, like we still have to do this aesthetic, but it's done for all intents and purposes. It seems like.
I would say functionally it has everything that we need, pretty much. Yeah.
And okay, so I wanna get a van at some point. I don't know if I want to live in it full time, but like long road trips, like weekend trips and stuff, like absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I'm really curious about a lot of the stuff we've already been talking about this whole weekend. But
yeah.
Okay, so how intentional with the design were you, like right from the get-go? Did you design literally where every little thing was going to be, like how everything was going to work before you even started building, or did you kind of piece it together a little bit as you went, as you actually started
It was a combination of both. So like the floor plan, the general layout of like bed here, kitchen here, a dinette here, that was all pretty much. Dinette is that's the small table.
That's fancy.
Well, I don't know. What else do you call small?
Anything that ends in "et," I just think of as fancy, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could have called it the kitchen table. But we're fancy people, obviously. So
you are. You live in a van, so
we're very
super fancy.
Yeah, I haven't showered in 3 days. We're very fancy. So
you do have a shower in there.
We have a shower, but I haven't used in 3 days, so I don't know what that says about me as a person. But so I guess the shower. So all of that, like the floor, I would say the floor plan was was laid out ahead of time, and actually. Just what we wanted in a floor plan was actually another reason we decided to build our own van, because a lot of like vans that you can buy like commercially don't have the floor plans exactly the way we wanted them. Like we wanted a larger kitchen. We did want we have a pretty unique shower/closet system that Jessica built, and that's like we haven't seen that in any production van. So then you could get a custom one. You could pay someone to do a custom, but then that's going to be it's like really getting really expensive at that point. So I think the floor plan was a big reason we chose to build it ourselves, and like it was the kind of the basis for how everything went from the beginning. So we definitely wanted it laid out in a certain way, and then kind of as you go, you start to think like. So you start with the floor plan, then you think of all like where are outlets, where are light switches, what sort of lights do you have? Do you have a dimmer? You know, where do you put certain storage? Like where does this closet go? Where does this cabinet go? All those things, and I think a lot of that we had pretty well thought out. When I say we, I mean Jessica. Like she was all her in her brain of where things are laid out, and so we had a lot of that. But a lot of small things, you kind of didn't think about. There's so many details that go into like where do things go, and we didn't quite think of everything. So sometimes
I feel like it'd be impossible to think of everything until you've done it.
I mean, you could like production ones, like they have literally everything laid out, right? Because they're producing the same thing over and over again. So someone like spends a ton of time designing it, and that's how it's like efficient to build it. I mean, it took us a year to build this, where they can probably crank out a production one in like several months, I assume. It's more of like how fast can you build it, but we were like constantly building, designing like as we went. So sometimes sometimes you don't think of every detail, so you figure it out as you go, or sometimes you forget to do it and then you accidentally kind of like pigeonhole yourself into like, well, now we have to do it this way. So there was definitely some like kind of like improvising of like, okay, well, this is now the only section of wall where this outlet can go. We need one in the kitchen, so we kind of wanted it here, but it's gonna have to go here, and then we're just gonna have to deal with it. We're not gonna go undo several months of work to move an outlet or whatever.
Yeah. What have been, so you've only been doing it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of reaching here.
Yeah.
But what have been some of the, okay, let me actually a little bit of context. Like obviously Vanlife gets so glorified, and that's well documented. Everyone talks about like, oh, like everyone glorifies Vanlife.
Yeah.
Romanticizes it, but it's true, What have been some of the challenges with it so far in these first 2 weeks?
I think there's a lot of things you take for granted in a house. So one is just like how much power do you have? Like most houses, if you're living on grid, then you essentially have unlimited power effectively for what a house would use. Plumbing is just a big one. Like we're constantly having to refill fresh water and then deal with gray water or deal with, human waste essentially.
Yeah.
We have the way we urinate is we have like a toilet it's a urine separating toilet, and then I also have like a pee bottle that I'll just fill up too.
You're like a trucker. You just toss it out the window.
I mean,
you're done.
I don't toss it out the window, but basically,
have you seen Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah,
where like freaking Ray is just like tossing his piss chugs everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where
I should start doing. I should start doing that because I mean, I had one night.
It could be your trail name, dude. Piss Jug.
That's a pretty good trail name.
You like that?
I think Piss Jug's a pretty good one. Yeah, but
Way of the road, man.
I had one night where I didn't empty the pee bottle before. So the thing is like. You can't empty it. Some places I'm not going to empty it. So like we've been staying in a combination of like campsites in the woods, but also we've stayed in, I think half our nights have been like in parking lots, either staying with friends or just in town because we just didn't have time to drive out to a national forest or whatever. So I literally had one night where I didn't empty my pee bottle, and I woke in the middle of the night, started going, and luckily I had the light on. Sometimes I don't really turn the light on. I kind of just like, just kind of go with it and just hope it's not going to fill. But I luckily had the light on. I was like, this is going to fill up before I'm done evacuating my bladder. So I was like, I literally had to like clench it and stop. And then it was like at the brim and like close it off. And then I was like, what do I do? So we do have a toilet that I could use a toilet, but I was like, I think in that case I did use the toilet actually. So that time I did, but I had another time where again, it was filled up. And
you just have to chug it at that point, I guess.
Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, it was. Again, van life is not so glamorous. So.
It's not glamorous at all. These are things no one talks about.
But another time when I filled up my pee bottle, I then found a those like Clorox wipe tubes where you can pull them out. Yeah, so we had luckily emptied one of those. We had used it all, and it was just in our kind of like trash can. And I was like in the middle of the night somehow had this genius idea of like, oh, we have an empty one of those. Dug it out of the trash, filled that bad boy up. Didn't fill it up, but use that. And I was like, I'm a fucking genius. Like I can't believe I thought of that. So, it's like stuff like that. Whereas in a house, I literally never thought of like where's the pee going or how am I gonna like you just don't think about it.
Why wouldn't you just piss outside the van?
Well, I was in
in a parking lot.
I was in a
Actually,
parking
that's
lot.
fair. Okay,
We
I didn't think of that.
were camped in the parking lot of a friend's apartment complex, and so I really didn't want to like some parking lots I wouldn't mind going out and peeing. Like if someone saw me, like probably no one would care. But this was like in a friend's apartment complex, and I didn't want to like get them in trouble.
Yeah.
Or like
That's
just
valid.
honestly, just I wouldn't want to do it in any place like that where people are like I just like we were trying to be stealthy in there. If I'm getting out and just like peeing like in the parking lot,
Yeah. I realized the mistake in my quote. You don't have to justify why. You don't want to piss in a public parking lot where people live.
It's just not a good look. Like we're already kind of like maybe bending the rules like by doing that, and it's like if you just stay stealthy and respectful, most people don't care. But if you start being that person who's like doing that kind of stuff, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm sure at some point shit's gonna get desperate and like I'm gonna have to do some sketchier stuff. But like we've been 2 weeks and it hasn't got there yet. So I think those are the biggest. Which those honestly, none of those challenges are big. Like they're not insurmountable. They're just part of like doing this. And it's really not. It's not that big a deal. It's a very small trade off for getting to travel around it. So. I don't know. We haven't had too many another challenge. It's not really a challenge, but just like you always have to figure out where you're going to camp that night. We have not stayed at any established campground. So like, we're not like picking a reservation, to stay a week at one place, which that would kind of like, reduce the decision fatigue of like choosing, have to go picking where to go, every night. We've been basically kind of just like, we got a bug problem here. Okay.
There you go.
All right. She yeeted it off. We're good.
Yeeted
it. But yeah, I mean, you get a bit of decision fatigue, and also like, going up in the mountains is like to like camp in the woods is really cool, but like you don't know what sites are going to be open. You don't know if your vehicle can get there. You don't know if it's going to be flat. Like there's just there's a lot of unknowns, which is like part of the appeal of it. But there's also like sometimes like 10 p.m. and it's like dark out already and you're kind of stressed and you really just want to like stop somewhere and sleep. And so that's why sometimes we resort to like just some parking lot.
I feel like you kind of have to if you're going to live in a van full time. It's like sometimes you don't, sometimes you might want to be in town for XYZ reason anyway. You got to make a phone call the next morning. Or
you just need internet.
Do laundry or you need internet.
Yeah, like we don't have Starlink, so we can't just like have internet anywhere. So we've had times where we did go into town just because we want, like actually when we were trying to figure out where we're going to meet you all here.
Yeah.
We intentionally went into town and stayed in town like that. I don't know if it was really that night, but we thought about like we should go into town for like half the day so we have enough internet to look at some maps because we were trying to figure out where in Utah can we meet. We were like in southern Colorado. You guys were in Utah. We're like, where do we meet? And so we intentionally went into town just to have consistent internet. Now, if we had Starlink, I guess we wouldn't need that. But I kind of like the times when we don't have internet.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't had internet for like a couple days up here. I like that. It's just like trade-offs of like, you know, when you need that. So, but honestly, we haven't had any challenges that are like so bad. We haven't lived through a winter yet. I think our first winter is going to be when you're dealing with cold and you're in a more humid environment. We've had amazing weather the entire time. It's been dry. We've had very little precipitation, really nice temperatures. I think the first winter, if we get stuck in a situation of like, it's like really rainy and it's like really humid and cold, like that could be kind of
because then it's like you're just stuck inside the van.
Well, that's the thing is like we've spent so much time outside the van, which is obviously that's the point. But if it's like really crappy weather, we really don't want to go outside, then you're really trapped in a 70 square foot metal box on wheels. And so now it's like,
I guess at that point you just drive somewhere where the weather's better.
Well, that's the idea, right? But we have already taken it into some less than ideal conditions. We went to Oklahoma to see some family in like late August, and it was like 100 degrees during the day. Ooh. We do have an air conditioner, thankfully, so we kind of pushed the limits there. But you could in theory say like, oh, we'll just chase perfect weather all the time. But like, what if there's like some sort of family emergency? And we need to drive somewhere in the middle and like not the best time of year to be in that location. So we're kind of assuming that it's gonna happen. Oh,
I was hoping he'd
try to get
does
a
he
trucker.
not know what that means?
I don't think he likes you.
What's that?
Well, I'm sure they have a horn. Yeah.
I was trying to get the side by side to honk his horn.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I'm on trail, like hitchhiking or something, and a tractor trailer goes by, or a semi truck,
right? We
18-wheeler, whatever you say, and wherever you live. Big rig. Yeah, that's a good one. You know, whenever one of those would go by, I was like trying to get him to honk.
Yeah.
It just fires me up, dude.
It's just
they
fun.
Just give you a little boop boop and you're like, let's go.
I remember like
too good
on field trips, like in school, like you'd be driving on the school bus and like whenever you drive by the whole side that's like adjacent to the truck, like the kids are going, like I remember like the teacher's like, okay, here comes one, everyone. And everyone's like doing this. And like whenever like the driver, you know, does it and like blows the horn, like the whole bus just erupts. Yeah,
it's like someone scored a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
like
the
let's
most.
go.
It's the most exciting thing.
I
about
love
the field
it, dude.
trip. Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Or I remember a couple times on the AT, probably at least 2 times, when the trail would cross over an interstate, like on a bridge.
Yeah,
And like, you know, you're right there. Like everyone on the interstate can see.
yeah.
I feel like in Maryland, I remember this somewhere for some reason. And maybe in Massachusetts too, like when the trail crosses the Mass Turnpike. That one might go under. I can't remember. But if I was like up on a bridge, I would always like try to get them to do it like from the top of the bridge.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You got to find ways to keep yourself entertained out there, folks.
Whatever you can do.
Okay. Back to the van thing though. Has the space been a challenge? Because you guys have the shower in there. You guys have like the stove and everything.
Yeah.
And it all works very well, but it is like a very tight space. Like space is obviously very limited
Yeah.
as it's going to be in any van. Has that been a challenge at all?
I mean, it's basically like I feel like there's just this choreographed dance of Jessica and I kind of moving around each other in there when we're like, especially at night when we're inside there getting ready for bed. We have to like move some stuff around because we don't quite have perfect storage for everything figured out yet. So there's definitely times where like we've just you just have to like normally, you know, if you want to get past someone, you just go do it in a house. But there's been times where I'm just like, I just gotta stand here and wait. Like she's by the sink, you know, brushing her teeth, and I have to like I'm trying to get something by the bed. But it's like there's no space really. I mean, you can kind of fit, but it's just you're being obnoxious, and it's like I can just wait like 30 seconds and then it'll be fine. So I've had times where I'm just gonna stand here and wait.
Yeah,
you know, and it's totally what you let me laugh at me for, Jessica. Well, okay, she's just thinking that I'm like, you know, criticizing her amount of time she's brushing her teeth. Whatever. My point is like, it's you can just wait a short period of time, 2 minutes at least, and then you're gonna be, you know, sometimes you just gotta wait. You just gotta like, you can't just all do the same thing in that same space at the same time. Like that's basically all it is. But I mean, you know, we slept in a tiny tent for like 6 months, like on the AT or whatever, 5 months. I don't want Jessica thinking that we hiked slow. Sorry, less than 5 months, 4 months, 3 weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I still beat you guys by a few days, right?
Yeah, you definitely you smoked us.
Yeah,
like a whole week.
Left you in the dust, dude.
In the dust.
What was your day again? Your start date?
May 8th.
Oh,
yeah. So you had a whole week on us.
What took you guys so long?
Dude, we're
started
chilling.
May 14th.
Well, I didn't finish it, so I don't.
That's true.
I mean, like my time means nothing.
Maybe you can go live in your van near the AT and go finish your section.
We have so my section is the Smokies, so I'm just saving that for some fun.
That's so close to where your parents live up there now too?
Yeah, they live in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, you could go.
Oh no, I definitely could, but it's just like I'm kind of saving it for like some time when it's like maybe if I ever finish a Triple Crown, that'll be like the ending.
Oh yeah,
like that'd be cool to do the Smokies.
Finish at a random road crossing in North Carolina.
No, it'll be at the Hilton Hotel.
Hilton,
Fontana. Sorry, the Fontana Hilton, whatever it's called.
We're washed up, dude.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
It's
about
been
hiking.
a while.
I don't know about hiking anymore. But no, the Smokies would be a sweet section to like finish now. I feel like. But
no, I'm just playing.
Yeah, we'll see.
I agree.
But yeah, it gets tight in the van, but it hasn't really been I don't know. It doesn't really bother. I don't know. It doesn't bother us. It's just kind of like, you know, sometimes you can't like cook and also like walk past the other person at the same time. I mean, we actually. Like, luckily, we're just small enough where we can kind of fit, and we've made it wide enough. So we actually can get past each other, but sometimes, like, you're trying to carry something.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But, I don't know, it hasn't been a problem. Like, again, if we are stuck inside, like, a whole day because we've got, like, bad weather or something like that, then we might start to get a little stir crazy.
Has that happened yet?
And we haven't had any bad weather. I mean, really, like...
But you've been in the West, mostly.
Yeah, we've been here 2 weeks, and it's, like, September, so it's not super rainy. It's not monsoon season. We had, like, one day where it did rain, but I like, napped in the back, so it's totally fine.
Talk about cutting a hole in the roof of the van when you were building it.
Oh man,
that got me fired up last night.
Yeah, well, when you're building a van, like you kind of have to work from the outside in some respects. So we chose to install. I mean, I think we've cut 6 or 7 holes, maybe 10, actually more like 10 holes. In the outside, a lot of holes. Yeah, a lot of holes. So like a lot of vans come with like, for example, on the slider door, a lot of them come with a window, but that wasn't good enough for us. The stock one, you can't open it. We wanted a window you can open so you can bring fresh air and whatever. So we got the version that has just no window on the side slider door, which means that we have to install our own window, which means you have to cut a hole in it. So basically one of the first things you got to do if you're working outside in is like, you just got to cut a giant ass hole in the side of your van. And like, this is like now if we had to cut a hole in the van, like we wouldn't be as nervous about it, but it's like one of the first things you have to do. We're not really experienced, or we haven't like the tool you have to use. We've used it like maybe 2 times.
Yeah.
We're not very experienced with it. So that was definitely Jessica's job because I was like, I don't want to be the one to like, I can forgive her. I don't know if she can forgive me, like if we screw it up. So I was like, I'm going to let her. She also is just much better. Like this tool is like, it's like a freehand type thing. It's not just like, oh, cut 4 straight lines.
Yeah.
Like a window is rectangular, but that's not actually the shape you need to use. It's also a curved surface. So it's a lot more complex than it sounds. So I let her do that. She did an amazing job. I mean, she like all the windows are like super good. So they all seal. They all work perfectly fine. So, but that was super scary. I mean, you're literally just like, so we have smaller windows in the back. We started with the smaller ones. It's like, okay, minimize the damage. But it's one of those things that like, if you cut it the wrong size, there's really no way to fix it. Like, I don't really know. No, they didn't.
Damn it, dude.
They didn't like it at all.
We're going to get someone before this
Someone's
is over.
going to do it. Someone in a big truck.
Yeah.
A big truck will do it.
If we see a tractor truck
that, like,
come by on
little-
this Forest Service road, we'll get them.
That little like, SUV, that one, they're not.
I guess to be fair, SUVs and pickup trucks don't have a pole.
They don't. But a pickup truck might oblige you just because it's like,
they better.
Know. We'll see. But yeah, that was super scary, cutting a giant hole. I mean, that was like, it's just, one of the first things we had to do. So, and then, but after that, like every giant hole you cut gets less and less scary. So
yeah.
And then cutting holes in the roof is definitely scary because it's like, and then sealing, whenever we put an air conditioner in a roof fan, it's like, really hope that I'm sealing this properly because it's just so easy to get a leak that way.
Jeez.
Obviously, you're cutting a hole in your roof.
Yeah.
So that was also pretty nerve-wracking, but
They didn't even look.
No, they ignored you. But it's one of those things that like you start out, the longer you do it, like you just get more used to like doing it. Like eventually we need to like cut a new hole and be like, oh, whatever. And like 5 minutes later we have a hole cut. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. We also didn't have any experience with like really like, woodworking, metalworking, any of that stuff. So, damn, you're getting nothing out here.
Dude, these people are looking at us like with this camera.
Yeah, they're like, what are these
doing?
yuppies doing out here? No.
I probably look like such a moron.
Yeah, we look like morons. For sure.
We are.
We do.
We are.
But yeah, it's I think part of an unintended consequence of doing this whole thing is like we've learned a lot about like how to build stuff. Simple skills. We're certainly not experts at any of it, but I'm just way more confident that I can figure out something if I need to, and just how to like fix things, like how things work, how you troubleshoot stuff. I don't know. I'm just like so much more confident in like being able to do that kind of, like whenever we own a house someday, if we ever do, like if something breaks in the house, the first thing I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna try to fix it myself. Yeah. And if I conclude that like no, this is way too expensive or the tools are insane or it's too dangerous, then I'll like obviously call an expert. But I'm pretty sure like I feel a lot more of a handy person at this point than I did before.
How long do you think you're gonna go before you get sick of people asking about your van and wanting to see your van and talk about your van?
I mean,
and explaining for the 100th time how you installed the plumbing.
I mean, honestly,
because you're fresh still, so like you're obviously like very happy to talk about this stuff. But like, give it a year, and I'm like, hey Baker, come to the podcast. We'll talk about your van. You're gonna be like,
nah, dude, I'm tired of it. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because we did it ourselves. I think there's a little more pride in like showing it off.
For sure.
If you just bought one and you just give another tour of like all the stuff, like maybe that gets a little old. I don't know. I don't expect it to really get old. It depends on like people who are like genuinely interested in like the details. Like I'll always want to talk about that.
Say that.
I mean, I think I will. If someone really wants to like dive into how the plumbing system works or the electrical system, I'll totally be interested in that.
In a year from now, because we see each other about once a year at this point.
Yeah.
A year from now, next time we do an episode, I'll have you do a deep dive on everything.
Dude, that's gonna be
the van.
The most boring
and we'll
thing
see.
Ever.
Oh, it'll suck ass. No one's gonna want to watch it, but
no,
that's not true. Some people will,
but I'll love it.
People that want to build their own vans will want to watch it.
That's true.
We'll see how eager you are and excited you are to talk about it. Then.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll probably have. I don't know. I'll be curious. I'll be curious. But at this point, I don't feel tired of it.
Here's another question. This is gonna be a bad omen, so I apologize.
Oh
but
boy.
You said something about this yesterday, so that's why I'm asking. How long do you think, if at all, it's going to take before somebody breaks into the van?
Yeah,
because that's something honestly I worry about. Like if I were to live in a van and have like stuff in there that's important, you don't want it to get stolen.
Yeah,
like money, drugs, guns. All the stuff that you guys have in your van right now.
Yeah, the fake passports we have.
Fake IDs.
Yeah. All the there's a lot
I don't think
really,
fake IDs are as expensive as drugs, money, and guns, but
a lot of valuable contraband in there.
Yeah, but anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just being an asshole.
A lot of firearms.
Yeah.
Explosive materials.
Yeah. Exploding targets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do do you think someone? I don't know what precautions are you going to take for that? Because I worry about this.
Yeah, it's something I've thought
Actually,
about.
unless you have any secrets you don't want to share with the world.
No, I mean, I don't think we have any secrets. Like, basically, I've just kind of, in my mind, I'm just accepting that it's going to happen at some point, and maybe it won't, but maybe it will. Like, nothing we have in there is like, I can't think of anything. If I lost it, it's like irreplaceable.
Yeah.
All the stuff that we had that was like valuables or mementos, which we don't have a ton, but we do have some, those are all going to be stored like with our parents, like in their houses. So, which someone can break into a house too, first of all. I mean, like, that is a possibility. Like,
it's definitely a possibility.
You know, so there's that. Everything else we have is more like it's an inconvenience to need to replace it, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, everything's insured. So like if it does get replaced, we get reimbursed. So then it's basically just the annoyance of you don't have that thing until you replace it, right?
Yeah.
Or just some things are hard to get to, or they don't really make them or whatever. So like, for example, this Melly, I can't just go and buy one online. So if someone stole
Very
this,
exclusive.
this is by far, if someone breaks my van, take anything but this, please. I'm just kidding. But I mean, like some things you can't easily replace, and we don't have maybe too much of that. I think Jessica does. She has a lot of like clothes that she's thrifted and she likes them, and she would feel bad just like trying to buy a whole bunch of new clothes. And
Actually,
so,
can we just go through all of your possessions one by one, especially the expensive ones?
do we have a
that
list?
would be of interest to
We have a list for
people
the insurance.
that
Yeah,
wanna
just
steal.
going to bust it out. Yeah, let's kind of like just categorize it and throw it out there.
And I'd love to know where you store it too.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah. We'll just give you a detailed map of like where to grab it, so you don't have to waste your time. We don't want to waste anyone's time here. But I'm kind of just assuming it might happen or will happen. I don't know. I say I'm assuming it will happen, but I don't know if I've really accepted that. But I do think
hopefully not.
hopefully not. But I'm just kind of accepting it probably will happen
It
at
might.
some point. So, but
He's not even looking.
totally didn't even look.
Not even looking.
Didn't even look at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just see. I mean, again, nothing we
I hope
have
I
in
didn't
there.
jinx it.
Yeah, I don't know. The one thing is like I really hope someone doesn't steal the van itself. If the van itself is gone when we come back to a trailhead, that
be
will
tough.
actually be like a big deal because that's our house, right? If someone steals the contents of it, that's less. They're not going to steal our water tank and our food. Probably, like we'll still be able to we'll survive. We'll won't have our laptops, but we'll be able to survive.
Yeah.
But if someone steals the van, that's when I mean, obviously that's could be dangerous, frankly, if we're day hiking in a remote area.
For sure.
And we don't have stuff to, if you come back from a backpacking trip, we'll be in pretty good shape. We can at least be warm. May not have food, but we can be warm.
Yeah.
But if we are in the middle of nowhere and we are we're day hiking or something, I might be hitting the inReach button just because we're 10 miles up. I mean, if it's 10 miles, we'll probably walk out. But either way, that could actually be kind of dangerous. Like if if all our shelter was taken from us, essentially.
Yeah. Or if you get towed.
If we got towed, I mean, yeah. If actually getting towed would be, I'd rather get towed than to get stolen. If it's towed, I'd know
but you'd still be stranded.
some sort of semi-legitimate business is holding it, But we'd still be stranded. So, but I don't know. It's like your car can get stolen, so that could happen in a car too. But obviously, this is our house, so we have a lot more just valuable stuff in it. So. And it's not a stealthy van. It's not is that a delivery truck? Why would there be a delivery truck at a trailhead? But
dude, I thought about that. I thought about designing a van and putting some decals on the outside to deter people from wanting to rob it.
Yeah.
First of all, to disguise it so it doesn't look like someone's living in it, but more so to deter people.
Yeah.
And my thought was to put something disgusting, something about porta potty cleaning or
oh, that's a really good
something. And initially I was maybe a construction van, but then I was but those probably get broken into all the time because people steal tools and
valuable
stuff.
Oh, true.
I've definitely heard of tools getting stolen. So I was what would nobody want to break into?
Yeah, Stanley's septic.
Something with septic or porta potty. Yeah,
or
like
radioactive.
That. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that guy is fucking chilling. Look at that guy.
That's a sweet motorcycle.
We gotta stop commenting. Yeah. Nobody cares.
No one can see these.
Yeah.
Or a uranium processing thing or
that's
something
too
like that.
complicated. I feel like a criminal probably wouldn't even know what that means because I don't even know what that means.
Well, just put a big radioactive danger symbol on the side.
That's true.
Or
human waste or something like
biohazard.
that.
Yeah.
Biohazard. Yeah. That's true.
Good.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It might happen. It maybe will. It probably will happen. I don't really know, but hopefully not. We'll see. The other thing is that people maybe don't know. Someone could be just inside there, right? If you're trying to break into a van, in a car, you can look in the windows. We have all our windows covered up to keep the sun out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So someone might be a little nervous that someone's actually inside there and they just don't know.
Yeah.
So I've thought that could deter people from potentially look good.
Yeah, we're at 50 minutes already.
All right, we're cruising.
Yeah.
But yeah, that could deter people too.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. The septic thing or the porta potty, whatever cleaning service thing was like the biggest idea. I had another idea for security. I guess this is definitely not an original idea, which none of my ideas are.
No.
And never have
No
been.
ideas
But,
original.
Come on, do it.
Ignore it.
My other idea, I'm sure this has been done plenty of times, would be to have like some sort of, not just like a safe, but like a hidden compartment.
Yeah.
Where if like someone broke in and they're just like ravaging your van, they know they only have like a few minutes, whatever, try to be quick with it.
Yeah.
Somewhere where like they wouldn't even think to look. You know, like inside the steering wheel. I'm sure you could fit.
That's a really good idea.
A laptop and a camera.
The thing is, if you're
going to
steal the vehicle, you probably need to pop into the steering wheel to like break in and stuff. So.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking more if you're like at a trailhead and someone's just like doing a smash and grab kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I think we've seen people who put safes in there and like hidden compartments and stuff like that.
Inside the mattress somehow.
It's not a bad idea. Who's going to steal a mattress?
I don't know how that would be possible, but
well, I mean, no, you could put like a zipper on the side and like stuff. That's not a bad
inside
idea.
the toilet. Even better.
My God, Jessica made a
no one's
going to
be like, oh, before we leave, we got to check the toilet real quick.
That's not.
There might be a camera in there.
There's a lot of good shit. I mean, to be honest, the van is small, but there's a lot of little nooks and crannies, like in just the way vans are built. So I think there's actually some merit to that. Like I think a safe is like if they find it, they know there's valuables in there. But if you've secured it in there well enough, they can't get out. But it is like an obvious target. I think a false safe is what we need.
Yeah, that's true.
That's easy to get out.
So they spend all the time trying to get into the safe, and then they open it. You just put like a quarter in there or something.
I also had like an old laptop that I recycled before I moved into the van, and I was like, I should have kept it and left it in like a hidden place. But like, yeah, exactly. Just like, oh, I got the laptop, and it's just like an old cheap laptop doesn't work. That's what I kind of like a little bummed that I didn't keep that laptop.
Yeah.
So
I think you guys will be just fine.
We'll see. Hopefully,
you'll be fine.
It's just stuff.
That's right.
It's the thing I'm not worried about. The thing I'm most worried about is crashing it, getting in an accident. Yeah. Which obviously I don't want to get in an accident, A, and B, like
we're really glamorizing van life in that.
I know.
How long until someone breaks into your van? Like
breaking out, somebody getting
crashing it would sketch me because it's like not only is it your vehicle, but it's your
your
home.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's not. Maybe no,
they're not looking.
Yeah, they completely.
I thought I was gonna get them like the first time.
We got nothing. Yeah, but yeah, crashing it. The thing is, it's not easily replaceable. Like even if we were to pay someone to build something similar to what we have, it would take months. Like custom stuff is like you wait in line because they're in high demand, and then they take months to build it. That would be very difficult. If we totaled it, that's like definitely a worst case scenario. So the other thing is that because we built it ourselves, like I don't know how crash worthy it is. Like I don't know like if we did get in even a fairly minor accident where the vehicle itself wasn't totaled, like the stuff we have in there, a lot of stuff could get damaged. So, I mean, we've definitely tried to secure things pretty well, but in the high impact crash, like I don't really know. So it's certainly like, there's definitely things. Those are the things that's the thing I worry about the most, honestly, is getting in an accident with it.
Yeah, true. Jeez. What's your driving record like? You pretty good?
I've been in,
I heard you got a ticket. I heard you went 20 over in front of a cop.
Well, I didn't get a ticket. I got a traffic misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Well, had one, but it's been expunged from my record now because I pled guilty. So
you bad boy.
That was not good.
Yeah.
Not my finest moment.
Beggar's been going down a dark path.
Yeah. It's been the last couple of years have just been, go back if you want to see good Baker, go back to the early episodes. Everything since then is just not good.
Yeah, no. Not
good.
Well, shit. Any fun adventures planned?
Like I said, we really don't know. So we're not sure. We might name our van Indecision. Still playing around with ideas. Can't really figure it out. But mainly because we just don't know what we want to do next. We honestly don't know where we're gonna go tonight. So we're still figuring that out. So fun plans basically like we're gonna go back to North Carolina in the fall, got a wedding over there, and then we'll probably stay in the East Coast for most of the winter.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, certainly the rest of the time out west here is going to be chasing fall leaves. Like that's going to be our
leaf peepers, man.
Dude, we're leaf peeping to the brim. We're 100% leaf peeping.
Do you think you guys will do any more backpacking?
Oh yeah, we'll backpack to the bitter end of like, only an inch of snow. We can do that. Like we're gonna.
Really?
Yeah, because we have not been, we haven't backpacked. Like, so the first backpacking trip we really did was early this summer. We've done 2 since moving in the van. We honestly have not spent much time out in nature, hiking, doing really anything. We spent pretty much most of this past year and a half, or really Jessica, especially the past couple years because of her knee injury. She's had very little time in nature. I also have had a lot less time than I did the previous 3, like the first 4 years off the AT. We spent so much time, for working full time. We spent as much time as possible out in nature. But we've had just a severe lack of it between her knee injury and then building the van. Honestly, this whole summer
that's a little ironic. The thing that's supposed to enable you to get out into nature more.
This is my thought the entire summer. I was like, basically, am I this is
the dark side of van life, dude.
Dude, it's the dark side.
Maybe that'll be the title.
Dark side.
We did talk about a lot of dark things when it comes to van life.
We really did. We didn't talk about anything fun, but yeah, we've just been we haven't had much time out in nature. So for me, this past 2 weeks have been wow. I honestly forgot how great it is. That sounds.
You're gonna get to make up for that now.
Oh, we definitely will. We definitely will. But it's kind of funny. I kind of had forgot. It's sounds weird, but I forgot how great it is to just literally sit at a campsite or go on an overnight backpacking trip. I didn't do a single overnight backpacking trip last year, which is crazy because every year since the AT, even before the AT, I'd spent so much time.
I don't even know if you're qualified to be on the show anymore.
Honestly, that's how I've felt the past few years. Felt like a poser to an extent, but I honestly forgot how great it is, which sounds totally silly. But definitely very, very appreciative to be out here. And I know Jessica especially is. She's has in the past 2 years has especially not had much time. So
well, I'm excited for you guys, man. It's so cool. Like I said, I want to have one eventually too. Yeah. And I've I can only think of one other time in my life where I had the opportunity to actually go inside someone's converted van. Yeah. And everything. So it's been really cool and good inspiration. And I've learned a lot this weekend. So yeah. Well, even this morning at breakfast, we were talking about various options for I haven't left any question unasked about the van, to be honest. Good. I mean, the swivel seats in there, dude. There's so fridge. I love this, the small details, and honestly, now I just love nerding out about various designs and stuff like that. This is just an obsession. On a mountain trail, I'm like, oh, what if I'd done this, or just stupid because I need to just appreciate the amazing rig we've got. So, but it is kind of one of those things when you spend a lot of time designing it, you just get these ideas in your head, and it's just fun to think about. Yeah. Various trade-offs of, this or that. So, yeah. All right. Well, any stories or anything you want to end with? I don't know. We were going to save the arrow story, but then I just kind of went for it. It wasn't that good of a story anyway. So. No, ask us in a few months when we've hopefully been out doing cool stuff. We've got no interesting stories. Yeah. We'll come back to it after the van gets broken into and you crash it. Yeah. And, I'm sorry. When someone steals it and then crashes it. Oh, that's true. That actually would be better than us being in it when it crashed. So actually, that's not the worst case scenario. Yeah. Okay. Nothing. So it's broken. Wow. Okay. That's Jessica just elaborated the absolute doomsday scenario of we are in it with a robber, a thief, and they crash it too. Yeah. It could be a Mad Max thing where we're driving along, or what's that Fast and Furious where they I don't know. There's cars in the back of a truck and they drive up alongside and then they jump in the semi. This is one of the Fast and Furious movies. I've never seen it. They literally basically steal something out of a moving car. That would be the worst case scenario. Someone jumps in our car like Mad Max or Fast and Furious style, steals our stuff, but it causes us to crash. That would actually be, that's worst case. And that would make a hell of a story. We could do an entire episode just on that though. So yeah, we could, but I'm going to milk your misfortunes as much as I can. That would basically just be reliving trauma on your podcast. I don't know. It would be, it would be not a very fun story. We're wishing you the best. We're wishing you guys the best. Yep. Show them some love in the comments, everybody. Or hate, if you hate van life too. Show them some hate. Or that's fine. What do you contempt? What was the word? Disgust? No, loathing. Loathe, yeah. If you loathe me, if there's a strong sense of loathing, that too. Probably there might be some jealousy. There's probably jealousy. We've seen these bumper stickers on people's off-road or just kind of camping rigs, one less SUV. Sprinter. Yeah, one less Sprinter. We thought about putting my friend Adam has one of those on his pickup truck. Yeah, we thought about putting it because ours is technically not a Sprinter, but it's essentially what people are satirizing by that or criticizing is very fancy vans. So we've thought about putting one of those on there, but we're no, we
we can't. We're too self-respecting for that.
Speaking of stickers, did I ever tell you about the this car climbed Mount Katahdin sticker?
What?
So Flossie found this. I don't even know how he found it. He must have seen it on like Instagram or something, but everybody knows not everybody, I shouldn't say. All the East Coasters and New Englanders and stuff know the this car climbed Mount Washington sticker, because there's the auto road up to top Mount Washington, and you really genuinely do see those stickers on people's cars all the time.
That's so funny.
And even on The Office, actually, Michael Scott kind of made a joke about it. He was like, and I never had a chance to drive my car to the top of Mount Washington. Anyways, and it's a very distinct design. It's very like classic sticker. Like, a lot of people know the sticker.
Yeah.
Somebody made the same sticker, but instead of Mount Washington, they put Mount Katahdin, which I think is so funny. I need to get one of those.
That is hilarious.
Because like most people are going to see it, they're not even going to realize the difference. But like those like in the know, like the people that listen to the show are going to see that.
Yeah, that's like
they're going to be like
an amazing inside
this
joke.
guy gets it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Most people are like, oh, Katahdin, I should drive my car up that one.
I really want to get that sticker.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's so
actually.
funny.
Oh man, I kind of want one for the van now.
This car climbed Mount Katahdin.
This van got to the top of Whitney or something like that. Yeah. Oh man, that's good.
All right, that's gonna do it, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening. Thank you, Baker. It was a great weekend.
Yes.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.
Peace.